대사님 오셨는데 제목이 아주 참 마음에 듭니다. 스위스 번영의 비밀. 아마도 그 번영을 가져오는 그 이면에 직접 민주주의 요소도 있을 것이고, 우리가 사회과학에서 이제 컨센서스 디모크라시, 머저리테리안 디모크라시하고 이렇게 대비되는 개념이 합의 민주주의인데, 그 내용 또 이 합의를 이끌어내기 위해서 여러 정치 세력들이 끊임없이 대화하고 토론하고 협상하고 타협하고, 아마 그것이 갈등을 이기면서 좋은 성과를 만들어내는 중요한 제도 내지는 정치 과정이 아닌가 이렇게 생각합니다. 이것이 궁극적으로 사회적 경제적 평등을 만들어내는 그런 조건이 되지 않겠나 생각합니다. 이 비밀들은 사실은 지금 당장 우리 한국에 가장 필요한 그런 요소들이 아닌가 이렇게 생각하고, 오늘 좋은 말씀 듣고 우리가 스위스를 더 잘 이해하고 스위스의 기적을 만들어내는 그 원리가 우리 한국 사회에 어떻게 적용될 수 있는지에 대해서도 고민하는 시간이 됐으면 합니다.
세종국가 리더십 포럼에 오늘 저는 처음 참석인데 대표적인 정책 공론회장이라는 것은 일찍부터 알고 있었습니다. 스위스는 지난 800여 년간 유럽의 강대국 사이에서 끊임없이 변하는 국제적 환경 변화에 성공적으로 적응해서 전형적인 강소국으로 발전하였습니다. 내부적으로는 시민의 광범위한 참여를 통한 내실 있는 민주정치를 실현하고 있습니다. 그러면서 스위스는 끊임없이 경제와 사회의 구조 변화에 적응해서 항상 새로운 영역에서 세계적 경쟁력을 갖춤으로써 지속적으로 경제 발전을 해온 세계 최고 소득 국가의 하나입니다. 스위스는 그러면서도 분배의 평등을 달성하고 있는 몇 안 되는 선진국 중에 하나입니다. 3분의 1 정도의 정부 지출을 가지고서 거의 스칸디나비아 국가와 같은 정도의 복지를 달성하고 있다는 것은 굉장히 저는 사실은 굉장히 인상 깊게 읽었는데 오늘 설명을 많이 들을 수 있으라고 생각합니다. 우리가 코로나 위기를 당면해서 더욱더 생각해 봐야 될 과제들에 대해서 스위스는 우리에게 정말로 많은 것을 가르칠 수 있는 그런 나라라고 생각합니다. 그래서 그런 점에서 오늘 주한 스위스 대사님이 발표하시는 내용은 한국이 앞으로 나아갈 방향을 정하는 데 중요한 참고가 될 수 있을 것이라고 생각합니다.
I will, after my short introduction, introduce 4 pillars. I think it's interesting to see it. The political stability, and I will run through some statistical data. Not all of you might be familiar with Switzerland, so let me do that. I will try also to run you through the reasons for the economic prosperity in Switzerland. I will try to talk about social equality. In Switzerland also, it's an aspiration. It's not a target that is achieved, that we can tick off. We have to work on that every day and every year. And finally, I will try to delve a little bit on the tools and instruments of direct democracy, the consensus-driven democracy in Switzerland, and I will try to come to some conclusions. It's wrong that Switzerland lived in brotherly love and peace. Switzerland was a very worrisome country. We had many wars, even civil wars, and you will see in the 19th century, modern Switzerland was founded after that. So tolerance was there, integration of people, and the respect for losers. The attitude is not the winner takes it all. We have won, now we do what we want. No. The basic success of Switzerland was overcoming really this. And the most important line for me is on the lower part, certain that freedom is only for those who use the freedom. Freedom is not something abstract. Freedom is something that you exercise, that you use. And that is the kind of the pragmatic Swiss approach to freedom. Coming to wealth is how to measure the wealth. Well, it's not GDP in the end. It's not GDP per capita, but it's GDP for the weakest one. What is on the plate for the poor, that is not very well educated, that has not chance, that had some accidents in life. I think the most important thing of Swiss philosophy is the strength of a people is measured by the welfare of the weak. That is something that is, again, a program. It's not easy to achieve, but we try to live up to that one. It was only introduced in 1971. What is also interesting is now women are catching up very fast. In our bicameral parliament, in the National Assembly, the Swiss National Assembly, 42% of the MPs are women. In our Senate, the upper house, it's a bit lower, it's 26%. And there is still, unfortunately, a gender gap. Women are paid, in average, 11.5% less, but the gap is narrowing. We are tackling that and hope that we will come to the real equality between women and men. And the other important thing is Switzerland is a country with many, many foreigners. 25% of the population do not have a Swiss passport, so it's a very multicultural and multinational country. The system, very quickly, well, it's a three-layer system, a three-tier system. The federal state, the Swiss Confederation, 26 cantons, some of them very small. The smallest cantons are smaller than your coups in Seoul or in Busan or in Daegu. The smallest canton is between 20 and 30,000 inhabitants. Democracy in the Swiss system is not majority against opposition. It is integrating all major parties around the table, a kind of constant round table where people are negotiating positions all the time. And what is also important is the state is a very mean state. It's a strong administration, but number-wise, it's really rather small. It's only 7 ministers, and on the left-hand side, our chancellor. He is the one who is in charge of running what would be, in the Korean terminology, the Blue House. So he would be, he is not the minister, and the lady in the middle, in the kind of ivory jacket, is the president. But she is the president only for 1 year, and then she hands over to one of the others. That is very much ingrained in Switzerland, that you cannot have the luxury of having enemies or hostile forces. We are all Swiss. We have to find pragmatically solutions together. And this means we try to integrate all the opinions and try to come to a conclusion. This gives also a kind of balance, and it gives a kind of reassurance for the people that their point of view is also reflected. On international affairs, Switzerland is a niche player. We try to have relations, good relations with all nations. We try to be helpful, go-between. We are not a member of an alliance. We are not a member of NATO. We are not a member of the EU. But we entertain pragmatic relations erga omnes. That is really Switzerland. Switzerland is a wealthy country. We started early in the 19th century. We were poor, we were a very poor country, but we were able to build a wealthy and very export-driven, innovative society. Have a look on the Financial Times 500 biggest enterprises in the world. You will see that 11 companies in Switzerland are on this list. Big companies that are there, and with a total market capitalization of more than 1 trillion. That was last week when I did it. Korea is a bigger economy than Switzerland, but in a way less internationalized when it comes to financial markets. Korea has 4 international big companies under the 500 biggest companies worldwide. When it comes to market capitalization, it's 309 billion US dollars. So that shows that even though a very small country, Switzerland is an economic and financial powerhouse. And Switzerland is extremely international. What is important also and interesting is that these small and medium-sized enterprises, again, are very international and are selling directly to international companies. It's not only subcontractors to big Swiss companies. You see it, the red part is, dark red is more than 1/3 selling abroad, directly abroad, at good international prices. And the other one is, the pink one is 0 to 1/3. So again, even smaller enterprises are international. The difference is a little bit in Korea, it's more state-sponsored, it's more state initiative. In Switzerland, it's more private companies. It's important to know that salaries in Switzerland are rather high, pensions are also rather high, and Swiss people are well off even on retirement scheme. I think that is something, when I see elderly people in Korea collecting cardbox or plastics, then I still think, they deserve better, and Korea should deliver for them a better thing. What is also interesting is taxation is rather mild in Switzerland. Switzerland is not a high taxation country, and what is interesting in a way for Korea probably is no inheritance tax for spouse, daughters, son, irrespective of the amount, because we think family fortunes should be together. It has already been taxed, so we do not tax that. What is true also, Switzerland is more expensive than our European neighbors. So everything is more expensive in between 1/3 to 40%. So obviously, in the end, even if you're well paid, you pay also more rent, you pay more for beverages, for restaurants and everything. But a kind of minimum salary in Switzerland for a lady or a gentleman, a cleaning lady in the hospital, a gentleman at a cashier would be more or less $4,000 a month. Social equality, well, you need a performing economy to give decent social insurance to everybody. We have a 3-tier system. I think I will not run you through that. That's too technical. We spend a lot on social. Switzerland is also a rapidly aging society. You would have 37% of people in 2045, if the prognostics is right. Switzerland have 26. This has a lot to do with immigration. Switzerland society gets younger to younger people coming from everywhere in the world. Quickly, the foreign part of the economy, you see it. Switzerland has 5 million jobs, and 3.5 more almost are Swiss citizens, and almost 30%, more than 30% are foreigners. The Swiss economy could not work without foreigners on each and every level. On the top level, because many of the professors at Swiss universities are top professors from the US, the UK, Germany, Asia, whatever, that are coming to Switzerland. Switzerland is really the consensus-driven democracy and federalism. Share power on different levels, that smaller entities can try out things that might work or not, but then the others will follow. Power distribution is, the federal government obviously is national defense, foreign policy, social welfare. It's all on the federal level, energy and infrastructure, communication laws, environment law, and general law, economic law, civil law. The civil court is on a federal level. And on the cantonal level is policing, security, monitoring. Education is cantonal. Health is also, the hospitals are run obviously in a different level. The tariffs are different in each and every canton. Culture is very close to the cantons, but also the cities. Cities are the most powerful in canton. And taxation, basically, I would say 3/4 of all taxation is cantonal. Federal government decides a law and said, we propose it. That's our proposal. It goes to Parliament, both chambers, and they have to come together. Otherwise, it goes back and forth, and they either agree with the government or they reject it. If it's rejected, it's done. It's dead. If it's not rejected, it then goes very often to the people. If it's important things, there are compulsory referenda. where people have to have the final say. That is the most important, I think, direct democracy element where people can directly really vote. The second issue is that people can ask for a referendum. So there are compulsory referenda that are foreseen in the Constitution. In the end, after Parliament, it has to go to a referendum. I would make 9 points. The first point is national reconciliation is extremely important. A sense of generosity to overcome divisions and ideological fractures. Solidarity and justice is important. A decent living for everybody. I think that must be the goal. There are always people richer than yourself. You can accept that. Getting citizens involved in democratic governance, I think that's important. In the end, democracy is not for the government, it's not for the MPs, it's for everybody. It's for all the people. And that's the measurement we should really take. Financial equalization is important within a federal state, but also in a centralized state, I think, in many ways. And the subsidiarity principle, which means that you should really leave with local authorities, regional authorities, whatever they can decide. Education and training, Korea and Switzerland, we are fully on the same page. I think good education to everybody, reward performance. A liberal democracy and an open society was really important. In Switzerland, the union movement is very weak. You do not need a union because you negotiate all the time. And we have a kind of very, again, decentralized approach to salary policies and all that. Obviously, each and every country has to maximize the output of the economy in a way, but also, obviously, in an environment-friendly topic. We didn't talk about health, we didn't talk about environment, which are extremely important topics for all of us. It goes together with a frugal administration. A small administration shouldn't be too big. We want to have performing enterprises, international enterprises that can hire people. And in order to do that, they must also be able to fire people, to adapt to change and to reform. Open society and pragmatism, that's important, especially as we draw so much on immigration. Immigration has become important for us. We have to tolerate different faith, different kind of feelings and different modes. Switzerland also is a very non-hierarchical society. It's very easy to approach people. Geographic location, the geostrategic location is important, and Switzerland is in a milder location than Korea. Try to live in peace with your neighbors, have a good cooperation based on exchanges. That is certainly something important.